Thanks for tuning in to our seller interview series. Up today, we've got an Amazon FBA business for sale in the bed and bath niche. Created in August 2014, this business makes an average of $3,500 per month in net profit, and the listing number for this business is 46177. Now, we do these interviews to give potential buyers more information about both the seller and the asset they're looking to purchase. We hope these insights are helpful for you in making a buying decision. We've got the seller with us today to go through the business and cover everything from niche selection to traffic and monetization. Thanks for coming on, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, Sarah.
Awesome. So before we get started, I'm going to go through a quick summary of the business. This business was built in August 2014. The business has monthly revenue of $11,984 and is producing an average net profit of $3,500, and that is based on a 6-month average. Included in the sale of the business are a Seller Central account with 14 SKUs, domain and all site content and files, and a Facebook account. All right, now that we have the introduction out of the way, let's go ahead and start the interview. So can you tell us a little bit about your background in building and running online businesses?
Sure. Well, I've actually been selling online since 2001, and in 2014 got involved with selling on Amazon as well. And I have, including this business, 2 other Amazon seller accounts that I run, and then I also help a lot of other companies sell on Amazon as well. So that's my background, selling on Amazon.
How did you get the idea to start up with this business in particular?
Well, I actually purchased this business late in 2018, around December, January of 2019. It was from a friend of mine who was struggling to get the business to perform. It had been going quite well for a few years, but she had some issues around advertising and also wanted to retire. So I think she was a little tired running the business and asked if I'd like to buy it, which I did. And I spent a bit of time this year, I guess, turning it around. It wasn't performing particularly well when I picked it up. And I've been running the business with 2 other business partners, like my brother and a friend of mine. For me, though, what's happened is that I've ended up doing all of the work. So time to perhaps let this business go and onto the next buyer who can hopefully build on the platform that we've created. Hopefully the foundations are reasonably solid now. There's a lot of room for potential growth in the future with this business.
What you were saying earlier, it sounds like you're a bit of an FBA expert. We normally ask people, why they choose this business model. That might be a deep question for you, but I think it's still worth asking. Why do you like the FBA business model? What is it about this model that seems to really work?
Well, for many years running e-commerce and FBA, one of the things that was missing in my life was location independence. So in 2014 or 15, with the advent, the discovery by me of FBA and, remote inventory storage and all that stuff that Amazon offers, that then sort of unlocked that third level of independence, location independent business. So I was able to run it from anywhere. I wasn't selling my time anymore. And, and I didn't have to worry about storing inventory. So that's the main reason there. So yeah, it's been terrific.
That's a great answer. With this niche for this business, I understand that you had, purchased it on the platform before, but what is it about this niche that, say is really beneficial, that really works? Obviously, I can't say that you chose the niche. So what is it about this niche that is just really working for the business right now?
There's a couple of challenges for the business, but there's also a lot of positives for the business. So what's working is the fact that the business has, certainly the SKUs that are within the business, extremely well reviewed. So there's a bit of defensibility around that. There's over 900 reviews on the products, 4.5 stars. The seller account itself is also in really good shape. The niche that it's in is a little bit seasonal, so that's something for the next buyer or the new buyer to be aware of. So it does tend to perform very well over summer in the United States, and then it drops off a little bit when the season gets cooler, without giving away what the product is. So it's overall, during the summer months, it performs really, really well. And it just ticks along quite nicely, slowly, but quietly and easily throughout the cooler months of the year. So that's what I quite liked it. I have other businesses that sell products that do well over winter. So this actually worked out quite well to even out my sort of sales year, I suppose.
This might feel like an obvious question, but it is one we always make sure to ask. How does this primarily make money?
It's all Amazon at the moment. So although occasionally we do get bulk orders, so we've had a couple in September. I actually got another one today for around 25 units. So there's a little bit of B2B activity around this business as well. So the products lend themselves quite well to, kind of bulk purchases. So I think there's real scope there for a new buyer to really push the B2B side of Amazon, Amazon business to business, a lot harder than what I've had time to be able to do.
Oh, that's a great answer. In terms of business history, is there anything you learned from this business that you'll apply to future sites or businesses? What did you learn from building this that just really worked for you?
There's a couple of things. One is that it's really important to just keep an eye on your paid advertising with Amazon and make sure that ACoS doesn't go too crazy. I think the previous owner was trying a few things with paid advertising that taught by some of the big paid advertising gurus. And for this business, that approach didn't work. Yeah, I think there's a lot more room for improvement with the advertising, but certainly need to be a little bit careful because it's quite a competitive niche and you don't want to spend too much money in order to make some money. You want to try and stay profitable. The other thing that happened with this business too that was quite interesting was it got hit with a pesticides problem where there were some words that were used within the listings themselves that triggered an algorithmic suspension, I suppose, by Amazon around April/May of 2019. So we spent quite a few weeks trying to resolve that problem with Amazon, and now the products are all clear again and they're all up and running again. But we did have quite a few products knocked out by the pesticides algorithmic update, which if anybody wants to Google that, or I'm sure there's plenty of forums out there that will talk about what that was. But yeah, it was certainly a bit of a shock because obviously, well, perhaps not obviously to the audience, but certainly to me, the products were in no way related to pesticides. It's just that we happened to use words like antibacterial and antimicrobial, which tripped the algorithm and knocked us out. So that was a big learning about how careful you need to be with the listing copy, for example.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer. And you might have just actually answered my next question in a way. I was going to ask you, things that you tried that didn't work. Anything else beyond what you just shared that maybe you tried and didn't work with the business?
No, not really. I mean, again, we haven't spent a lot of time and I've been too busy really to give this business the love that it needs. So I'm hoping the next buyer can really give it a good cuddle, and give it a bit of love and a bit of nurturing. And certainly for the next buyer, I'm really happy to talk to them about some of the things that we wanted to do, but probably just don't have the resources to be able to do in order to improve it and make it even more competitive than it already is on Amazon. But there's not much else to say, really. It's just a really simple, easy, one SKU, certainly one parent and 13 children ASIN product. I think there's another product as well. Yeah. So it's about 14 products altogether.
That's a great answer. So I guess a buyer requirement, someone who's willing to give the business a good cuddle. I like that. So yeah, moving on to usually go over traffic and earnings. Let's talk about where a majority of your traffic comes from and what you're currently doing in terms of marketing.
Great question. So, look, obviously there's a lot of SEO traffic. The products rank quite well, Amazon, for most of the big search terms, not all of the big ones. A lot of the long tail search terms on Amazon, the products rank well for. And so they generate quite a lot of organic traffic without having to spend too much on paid advertising. That was one of the reasons why I bought the business, because I would have seen that it was already ranking organically and I could probably scale back on the quite high levels of advertising in place when I first bought it. But we still advertise and we spend a few $100s a month, but certainly not thousands like what was happening earlier. We don't do any other external advertising at all. So there's no ManyChat lists or chatbots or Google advertising or anything like that. So, or Facebook, for example. So there's not a lot of the zero external advertising. I think that for somebody that's, perhaps has a bit more experience around Google advertising, Facebook, maybe some chatbots, this business could go crazy with that sort of level of outside-in advertising.
That's a great answer. Could you describe the process of, getting inventory to Amazon?
Sure. Again, very straightforward. The supply chain is very locked down and is still in place from the previous owner. So the person that we deal with has excellent communication skills from China, and she, has excellent English, both written and verbal. Very reasonable. So we actually store a lot of inventory in China for free. She allows us to store it there after we've manufactured it for free. And then we ship by sea from China into Amazon. So that keeps our shipping costs very low and helps us stay competitive against other sellers. So we do very, very few air shipments. We only do them when perhaps there might be a big business to business order where we might need to ship additional inventory in just to sort of handle a, quite a large order, say 150 or 200 units. So that's basically the process. It's pretty straightforward. It's a really easy business to run. And certainly the supply side is, we have excellent relationship with our supplier. I hope that the new owner of this business also maintain excellent relationship because the suppliers are really reasonable and quite flexible, certainly.
Yeah, it sounds like that's going to be a huge benefit for a buyer. So thank you for going over that. In terms of opportunities, if you were to keep the business, what are some of the ways you would try to grow it?
We've already started looking at Canada as another marketplace, so that we're pretty confident that will probably add maybe another 10 or 15% to profitability of the business. So we've already got the listings all set up, and wow, we've even actually created like a shipping plan for Canada. We haven't executed on that just yet. Certainly Europe as well. Anybody has a sort of a park Brexit for a minute, but certainly just putting that aside and the uncertainty that exists around that. But certainly in Europe over summer, I think that the business could go really, really well in Europe. And obviously when you take listings that are based in the United States and replicate them throughout Europe, then you're going to inherit, over 900 reviews on a brand new, effectively a brand new product in Europe. And, the quality of the product is fantastic. We've actually done quite a lot of work this year to even further improve the quality of the products, which I won't discuss here, but certainly we're happy to talk to what we've done with a new potential buyer. So they're probably the big things. The last thing that we would do, though, is that we certainly would be looking to do if we weren't selling the business, is to create a different, smaller variation of the product. So that would create a much lower introductory price that would be visible to potential customers on Amazon. And we're seeing that some of our competitors are doing that to have this smaller version of the product, so the price is a lot lower, so they tend to be doing very, very well in comparison to us. So that was certainly something that we're looking to execute on with our supplier and actually source a smaller version of the product so that we could have that sort of perceived price competitive advantage in the Amazon search results when people are browsing through and comparing our listing, for example, to competitors.
Excellent. What do you think are the biggest risks with this business that a buyer should be aware of?
Well, obviously, the biggest elephant in the room would be the tariff situation at the moment. So there's a lot of uncertainty around that. At the moment, our products are listed under the List 4 group of products. So those tariffs are likely to come in around December, if they come in at all. So that's certainly one risk. In terms of other risks, look, there's always the standard risks that you come up against with selling on Amazon. That might be, additional competitors, competitors who can price lower. But other than that, it's a fairly well-defended position that the company is in, or certainly its products are in on Amazon at the moment.
Perfect. So let's get into work required. Can you describe the amount and type of work you do on this business for maintenance?
Sure. So the main thing really is just with the inventory. So just monitoring inventory. We've set up alerts within the inventory system so that when we get to, perhaps just a few hundred units on any one SKU, we'll get an alert. And that then sort of gives us a bit of a prompt to reorder or certainly ship existing inventory that might be already in China and get it across to Amazon by sea. So again, shipping by sea makes us a lot more competitive. It's by far and away a lot cheaper to do that than it is to ship by air. So we try and stay way ahead of our inventory requirements and freighting requirements and shipping requirements so that we're not having to pay extra and impact profitability by having to air freight. So that's probably the main thing. And then the last thing would probably be around occasional updates and tweaks that we might do to the listing itself, and then advertising and just sort of, downloading some search term reports and making sure that we're not bidding on keywords that might be getting excessively expensive. I'm not an advertising expert on Amazon by any stretch. So I think that anybody that is an advertising, has a lot of experience with Amazon advertising, could squeeze the account even harder. I think ACOS runs at about around close to 30% most of the time, just under 30%. So if anybody out there is a real Amazon advertising expert, they could do even better, with the performance of that.
What kind of skills or requirements might there be for someone not familiar with the niche or business model?
Well, none really. I think most people have used this product before. So from a product understanding, like understanding what the product is or how it works, that's really easy, and everybody would know, what the product is once they see it. But certainly if you're running an Amazon business for the first time, I'd be familiarizing myself with Amazon Seller Central. So I'd be looking at the Amazon University, or Product University as it's called within Amazon. So that's a massive free course with literally, scores or hundreds of different videos that show you how to operate an Amazon seller account. So they're probably the two big things. And obviously just having some business experience, understanding profit and loss and lead times and, inventory management, a little bit of that as well.
Great. And I'm getting towards the end of my questions here. Just couple short ones for you. How much support are you offering buyers?
I won't say unlimited, but certainly, for 30 or 60 days afterwards, a couple of Skype calls a week, certainly unlimited email, support. So, as much support as someone might need to get set up. And I also have a course as well, and quite a few SOPs with videos and things. So I'd be very happy to offer the new buyer free access to that, so that they can, sort of understand how to run an Amazon business if they're just starting from scratch.
Oh, sounds great. Would you commit to a non-compete?
100%. Yeah, I don't have any other products in this. I have some in this category, but they're completely unrelated to what the products are within this business. So I'm certainly happy to offer a non-compete.
Great. Are you open to negotiating something like an earnout?
Possibly, within reason. Yeah, it would have to depend on what the earnout looked like in terms of the offer.
Great. Putting yourself in the shoes of a buyer, why do you think this is a business worth buying?
It's such a simple, easy little business. I think certainly it's different buyer personas. So I think if somebody already had a business that was in this niche, this would make an excellent bolt-on acquisition for instant profitability and revenue improvements straight off the bat. For somebody that's looking to start to sell on Amazon for the very first time, this is a really simple, easy way to get started, and you can add a lot of extra products to it and really build out this niche once you've learned the ropes. And then for a more seasoned and experienced Amazon seller, this is a great little business. If they've got a bit more experience than I do, then, they're experienced in advertising, then, they could really do well with this little business as well. So they're probably the three main reasons why I'd say it's a great little business to get involved in.
Well, that sounds great. Before we end this call, is there anything that I might have missed I didn't get the chance to talk to you about?
Sure. I think there's another real great advantage of this business. One is it has a payout every fortnight. So there isn't any withholding of funds that Amazon has introduced since about 2016 with Amazon seller accounts. This is a pre-2016 Amazon seller account. So every 15 days, you're going to get a payout. So that's brilliant for cash flow. You're not impacted at all by cash flow with this little account. So we'd be very happy to potentially negotiate on price to keep the Amazon seller account, because it is such a valuable asset all on its own. So, again, I can have that conversation with somebody later on. But, a lot of reviews. The Amazon seller account itself is in excellent standing. It has over 775 positive seller feedbacks, 5 stars, or 4.9 stars, I think. There's been one performance notification in its history where there was an issue around, actually it wasn't even a performance notification, it was a small issue around where some of the labels the barcodes were incorrectly put onto some products. So a couple of products were suspended way back in 2016. That was obviously quickly resolved by the previous owner. Since then, apart from the pesticides issue, this is a very clean account with 15-day payouts and amazing seller metrics and incredible amount of reviews on the products themselves.
Awesome. I think that's a great answer. Well, Chris, thank you so much for your time today. Really looking forward to see how this plays out for you.
Fantastic. Thanks for having me.
Awesome. Thank you. If you're watching this on YouTube, subscribe to our channel. And if you want more information, the link will be below the video that'll take you to this marketplace listing. If you're watching this on the listing page and want more information, become a depositor today. When you make the deposit, one of our business analysts will be in contact with you and you'll be given everything you need to review this business. Have a great day.